Algebra 2, solving with roots, day 2. We have one new problem type here on the front side. We're going to go over a couple, and then the back side should be a review of yesterday's. Okay, so day 1, we did have something a little similar to this, but we had square roots on both sides. Now we have a square root on one side, no square root on the other. Okay, and we're going to take a look at what happens with that. So our first problem, our square root is already isolated by itself. So we are going to square both sides. And the right-hand side will give us a nice friendly 3x minus x squared. Square and a square root canceling out. On the left-hand side, it's not bad, but it is a FOIL one. Okay, we do have a shortcut, if you can remember the shortcut. Otherwise, I would just write it down twice and FOIL it out. Write it down twice and FOIL it out. That's what squared means, something times itself. So write it down twice, multiply it by itself. We're going to get x squared. Make sure we're not cut off there. Minus 3x, minus another 3x, and then plus 9. Okay, so we'll have, let's clean this left side up, x squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 3x minus x squared. So a little bit nicer than yesterday's hard problem. So we're going to move everything to one side. Okay, we're going to minus 3x. And then we're going to add x squared. 2x squared minus 9x plus 9 equals 0. And now we're going to factor. Okay, where can I squeeze my little magic x at? Maybe up here in the top left corner. What's going to multiply? I have to do front times back, so our factoring trick's coming back into play here. Front times back, what multiplies to 18 and adds to negative 9? We should be getting negative 6 and negative 3. Negative times a negative would be a positive 18. And the negative plus a negative should be a negative 9. Now we have that number in the front, so we have to come back and divide by that number in the front. Okay, we have negative 3. We'll have negative 3, so we're going to have x minus 3. And negative 3 halves. So that 2 slides up in front. We'll have a 2x minus 3. Now our answers will then be 3 and 3 halves, or 1.5 if you prefer that. Okay. Now, just like yesterday when we had x's on both sides and we squared them, okay, you don't know necessarily if it's a negative or a positive that you're squaring. So you might be losing some signs, positive or negative signs there. Alright, so now we should probably double check these. Okay, same rules apply as yesterday. If it's a good one, you can just let it sit. Okay, if it's not good, if you're not going to use it, you have to show me why. Okay, so we can maybe mentally double check 3. Okay, back to the original problem. Ooh, 3 minus 3 is 0. Okay, can a square root equal 0? Yes, it can, so we're good so far. Okay, 3 times 3 is 9, minus 9 squared, or 3 squared is also 9. So yes, 0 inside the square root. Square root of 0 would be 0. That one should work. Okay, 3 halves are 1.5. Right from the jump here, we're going to have negative 1.5, right? 1.5 minus 3 would be negative 1.5. And a square root cannot equal a negative. So that one's going to be a no. So we definitely need to show that one's no. It also wouldn't hurt to show that the first one's yes. Let's see, without taking up the whole space here. I could probably do the 3 right here and be okay. So we'd have 3 minus 3 equals the square root of 3 times 3 minus 3 squared. And that would be 0 equals the square root of 0, and that is good. So that one's a yes. Okay. The other one, we're already thinking it's a no. Alright, so I'm going to use 1.5 or 3 halves. Three halves minus 3. So right here we would have negative 1.5 equals a square root. Okay, and we could, if you caught that, you could stop it right away and say, nope. You know, negatives, square roots don't come out negative. And you could say that. If you don't catch that right off the bat, we're going to have 3 times 3 divided by 2 minus 3, let's go parentheses, 3 divided by 2 squared. 2.25. Now I know that usually when we do our solving with square roots, we're going to do a plus minus. That's not the case this time. We're only focusing on the plus because we're not like, you're not solving an x1 where you don't know if x is positive or negative. We know what x's are here. We have their signs, 3 and 3 halves. So we're not worried about like the plus minus and saying that, oh, this could be negative 1.5. Okay, so we're going to have negative 1.5 equals positive 1.5. That's not true. So this one does not work. And we're only going to use this one. Okay? Let's see if we got another tricky one. Now, just because this one was split and one worked and one didn't work doesn't mean that's how it's going to go every time. You could get one where one does work, or they both work. And you could get both that don't work. I can't think of how or why you'd get in a situation where both don't work. I think the most you're going to get is one that doesn't work. Let's do one that both work. The one below it here. I think both of them work on this one. Okay? So again, the square root is already by itself. Let's square both sides. And we'll have 2x minus 4 equals, okay, the shortcut is not x squared plus 4. It is x squared and then a plus 4 out there. And don't forget the stuff in the middle. Okay, when we did this one, it was minus 3x and then another minus 3x. So let's multiply those two together and double it. We'd have a minus 4x in the middle. That's the shortcut. If that doesn't work for you, write it down twice, FOIL it out. When we're moving these things to be on one side or the other, keep x squared positive. Keep x squared positive. Okay, so let's move everything over to this side so x squared stays positive. Plus 4. Plus 4. Minus 2x. Minus 2x. So this one should be a really friendly one, because there's no multiplier on x squared. So we're just thinking about what multiplies to 8 and adds to negative 6. Negative 2 and negative 4. So we have 2 and 4. Okay, it should be pretty easy to double check these. If I plug 2 in, we have 2 times 2 minus 4 equals 2 minus 2. Again, we're going to get our 0. We're going to get square root of 0 equals 0. That's true. And then if I put 4 in there, 2 times 4 minus 4 equals x minus 2, or 4 minus 2. We'll have 8 minus 4, that's the square root of 4. And again, we're going to get 2 equals 2. And that one's a good one. So those both work. Both are a yes. Okay? Again, I don't think you could get a both are no's, but you do need to double check. And if you are going to say one of them doesn't work, you do have to have supporting work as to why that one doesn't work. I don't think it's going to hurt you to show the work for both checks. Okay? We should, maybe just think about doing the both checks just in case. All right? There you go, folks. Good luck. The whole front side should be like that, and then the back side is a review of yesterday's stuff. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.